One greetings from the high 10. It's everyday shenanigans. It's 5:05 a.m. Friday morning. I want to wish all of you a happy weekend. Please be safe. I'm up late in the morning. Can't sleep. Watching true crime pertaining to the death of Michael Jordan's father. I would like to bring that content to my network eventually. But in the meantime, my spirit won't rest about this baby. And I'd like to know the day that law enforcement and the FBI began the search for baby Q in the landfill. I'd like to know the day they got information that the child was discarded in a dumpster and put into the landfill. And I'm up. Hello, Double Rainbows. Thank you so much. I'm up because, like I said, I can't sleep. It's just who I am. I can't stay out that YouTube queue. That thing's going to be the death of me. Lord have mercy. I'm going to play this content for you so we can get an idea of what the landfill is, what it's about. Because if you don't really know what the work details are pertaining to those who drive the truck, dump the truck, the process of the dumping of the trash, then you won't be able to understand this case, because it's easy to judge and say, well, this, and this. If you don't know, you really can't say anything about that landfill. So I'm going to bring you content to get a better understanding of the process of dumping the trash at the landfill. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during this early morning live. This is a man who dumps trash for a living.
Hey, what's up, y'all? White Boy Radio back with another one. Hey, a few lives back, I was talking about waste management. Look, I busted this shirt when I worked there. I got all the gear. They got all types of, it's a good company. I won drones and stuff for good employee, driver of the year, all types of stuff. But before I quit on them, I drove every truck. And I'm doing this video because as of making the video, baby Quinton, they haven't found him. Now, they did leak that landfill is where they're at. Look, man, I'm going to try to explain this to you guys. And if you have, if you're sensitive, because it's a sensitive subject, you might want to smash a like and leave. I'll respect it. Look, this is like finding a needle in a haystack. And not only that, it may be mission impossible. But being positive, man, and because of the severity, it is possible. But let me explain this, man. I talked about this in the live. I don't expect everybody to watch a 3-hour live. I know people have time, just they have family and stuff. But look, man, I drove every possible garbage truck for multiple companies. I drove for 3 different garbage companies. Waste Management the longest. On average, the truck, when it was completely full, when it's time to hit the dump, the landfill, I have about 18 tons on the truck. 18 tons. And that's because I wanted to get off early. You're not supposed to drive that heavy. But let me just explain this. When you go to the landfill, okay, you're pulling in, and there's probably, at least where I was working, there's probably 50 other garbage trucks there. If I got almost 20 tons on, okay, just think about this. You drive in 20 tons. One ton is 2,000 pounds, okay? You get on a scale, you give you a receipt, you have to input it, but you get behind it. You get behind other garbage trucks. It's just for the garbage dudes, and it's a spot on the landfill, okay? So I'm breaking this down for you so you can kind of get a picture in your head. if what is true about her going somewhere and throwing the baby in a dumpster, a roll-off truck would then come, and he would have the exact same weight as what I'm talking about. Maybe he's driving a little bit less than 18. Maybe he has 14, okay? Regardless, that's a lot of weight and a lot of garbage. And what happens is you're in a line, and you go up, and there's a section of the landfill that all the trucks are dumping at. You go in, you put reverse, the guy backs you up, and then you hit the button, and you push it all out. Someone's going to come behind you or literally right next to you, and they're doing it at the same time. Trucks all day doing this. In between the trucks backing up and dumping their loads, they have bulldozers there. So when you eject 20 tons worth of garbage, they bulldoze it down, flatten it down, and then all day it's a never-ending cycle. People are dumping on top of that, smashing it down, dumping on, and I'm not talking.
Sorry about that intermission. Thank you all.
A couple pieces of furniture or a couple bags. We're talking about almost 20 tons. 20 tons. And the next day what happens is, obviously all week we can't dump right there because that part of the dump would be miles high. So they even it out. So now the next day we'll be over there dumping all the way across, dumping. Okay. There's 3 entrance ways. And they're always compressing it down, and down. Man, look, if Savannah County, if that police department could actually find the baby, okay, find the toddler, that would be, in my eyes, I've been doing this the majority of my adult life. I would almost consider that a miracle. And I say that because I learned in this case of the last live, okay? And I believe he was missing from the 5th, if I can remember right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at the time I recorded the live, it was about a week from him reported missing. That is a lot of trucks going in and out. I mean, absolutely a lot of trucks. It would be a miracle, in my opinion, if they found him. Now, of course, I'm giving you almost a career in this business. Yeah, I've been doing sanitation a long time. I'm out of it now. But if things were ran in Georgia, which is only one state away, if they were ran the same way in Georgia as they are in Florida, okay, I'm telling you, it would be a miracle. So in the event, and look, I don't want this to come off negative. In the event they find little Quinton, man, the police over there get a salute and they get a lot of respect because that is extremely hard to do. Extremely hard to do. Sometimes people want to blame the police, and right now, and myself included, right now, people are frustrated towards the police department. Why no baby? Why the mom not get arrested? Okay, I'm sure they have answers for that, but at the same time, I think that finding him has a big part of the answer, the solution. Just my opinion. Listen, you know anybody that's in garbage that literally drives a truck? Ask them if I'm telling the truth. I'm telling you. In my opinion, you haven't found him yet. It's going to be difficult. And then also, they have to stop the whole county process of garbage right now.
Exactly.
They have to have a log, and they have to know what section of the landfill the guys were dumping that day. Okay, mm-hmm. So they have that marked off, and they have the rest of the landfill they can dump. But I would imagine, being that it's a homicide, they probably have the thing closed. So there's a lot of pressure beyond the public and beyond online on that police department. I'm telling you, if they can pull this off, they deserve some respect. Hopefully they do, and I'm wrong. Okay, but I'm telling you, this far, why there's no baby. If I could bet my house on if I'm right or wrong right now, I would do it. I guarantee that is the delay right here. It's White Boy Radio. We'll catch y'all again on the next one. Next live, we're gonna chop it up and see if we can do some things, man. If you can remember in the Kylie case, there was a point where there was nothing coming in. Everything was everything was talked about on YouTube. I didn't want to repeat talking points or repeat things that have already been said. So what we did was we did something. I don't want to say it so people won't get my ideas or whatever, but I have a good idea. We did it in the Kylie case, and I'm going to need y'all's help for the live. So look, stay tuned. I've been trying to go live more. It's tough, y'all. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I put a lot of content out. I try to stay consistent with you guys. But man, I have a family and I have a job, which takes most of my time. So I get it in when I can get it in. And we're getting it in now. Smash a like. And until the next one, White Boy Radio, if you can, below the members.
All right, everybody. I'm going to stop it there. White Boy Lockdown. Shout out to him for bringing us this information pertaining to the process and dumping trash. I believe he's out of another state, but he is speaking of what it entails. And basically the title of the video is Sanitation Worker Explains Why Quinton Simon May Not Be Found at the Landfill. Thank you for joining me. 44 viewing. Let's process what he has said. Could it be it will take a while? 1 minute they were saying weeks, months, different news reporters saying this, and it can make you feel some type of way because you're wanting this baby to be found, but you have to use deduction, especially when you hear it from a person who actually did this for a living. He's no longer doing this for a living. White Boy Lockdown Radio. I don't know why he stopped doing this type of work. I'd like to know, why did you stop? I'm curious. Maybe he found something better to do. But nonetheless, common sense will tell you tons and tons of garbage being dumped from day to day. You don't know the day they started. So let's ask that question. What day did law enforcement and FBI start the search at the landfill? Because they could have started this search before it was ever mentioned that she was a suspect, Leilani Simon. Naturally, they do not have to tell you what they found, what they saw, or any type of evidentiary material. And that's where people get it misconstrued, is that you get upset over what you don't know. So you start, pointing fingers, this and that, but you don't know the day they got the information that the baby was at the landfill. Because as I told you, it could be a numerous of circumstances how they found out. GPS in a car, GPS from the phone, eyewitness, surveillance, text messaging. You don't know because we don't know these people. You don't know who she's talking to, what she said to somebody. You don't know. But the point is, they're there and they believe the child is there. So I'm going to just use my common sense to say they have something against Leilani Simon to lead them to the landfill. And that's just the bottom line. You can speculate if she took the baby there, use it as a decoy. But one would have to say, why would somebody use it as a decoy when nobody knew that she was going to be dumping a baby, killing a baby? You wouldn't know that. Ellie wouldn't know that. So you can't really say that. Oh, she pretended to go sit somewhere and dump a kid. Well, what would be the purpose of that if nobody knew you were going to kill a kid? Tons and tons of debris dumped. That's something to think about. And like he said, at some point they're dumping at different parts of the landfill. And I don't know if this is the procedure in Savannah, but you have to use deduction of when did they first get information that the baby was dumped in a dumpster. Then naturally the dumpster in cahoots with the dump truck, it has a certain place it dumps its trash. That's how they were able to find Camille McKinney in Alabama, because one of the suspects told it. We dumped her in a construction dumpster, a neighboring apartment complex, walking distance from the apartment complex where they lived. That's how they were able to find her. Imagine had Jericka Brown never told that they dumped the baby, because they probably worked her over. Hey, blah, 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 you got a kidnapping charge already. You're still going to court for that, blah, blah, blah. We know you did it, blah, blah, blah. She got scared and told the truth. Hey, yeah, okay, the baby's next door. And then they traced the steps of the construction dump to the landfill, because the dumpster has a specific place where the trash is dumped. Thank God for that, because they did find Camille McKinney, a little black baby who was playing in the projects in Alabama. So if she can be found 10 days later, baby Q can be found. Stay woke. Listen to what I'm saying. If a black baby can be found 10 days later in a landfill, then you can bet your bottom dollar baby Q can be found. And thank God they have specific places in the landfill where they dump. Just imagine if they all ran up in there one by one, dumping. There's no rhyme or reason to where they're dumping. Hell, you be in there every day, all day for months till damn summer. Next summer, 2023. This is depressing, though. But we have to have faith. Whether you believe in God or not, you have to have faith in the judicial system that they know what they're doing. They have evidence against this dirty bat. And they believe that the child is in the landfill and that they are going to find him. I don't know why I said her. Find baby Q. They may not find him whole, but it does not matter, because you have to use common sense that this is a landfill and that the child was discarded in a dumpster. So 1, you do not know the manner of death. 2, you do not know what she did to him. 3, you don't know how she disposed of him. You don't know what she put him in. So all those things are going to matter when it comes to how she killed him, dumped him, the state of the body, and then how he was processed in a dumpster, then into a dump truck, and then into the landfill. You can use your imagination. It would not be nice, even if there was no torture of the body by the biological mother. His body would be ravaged just from being thrown in the dump truck. This is vicious. And to know that these people were out, walking around, running around, partying, drinking up drinks, shots, hollering loud in an establishment, shows they never cared for baby Q. As Maya Angelou once said, when they show you what they're made of, believe them. Believe them. Interesting how a grandmother could sit on a live newscast and talk derogatory about her own child. I don't believe what she's saying, blah, 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 ain't nothing adding up. But yet you getting turned up with that same baby killer in a public bar where there are eyewitnesses, surveillance cameras to show this event. That shows me that all of you are trifling as fuck. You're a trifling ass mama. She's a trifling ass mama. And anybody that sat there at that bar with you drinking and eating and turning it up, they're trifling too. Because this baby deserves some respect. And we know he didn't get it in life, he or his siblings. That is the very reason why he is deemed dead and his siblings are in foster care, because you motherfuckers never cared about none of them. But I do believe God is going to right the right. He's going to make it right, whether you believe it or not, because he's not going to let his children suffer in vain. He's not going to let them suffer in vain. Heartless. Heartless they are. Thinking they've gotten away with this. And if I didn't know any better, I would say Billy Joe could be in on it too. Why not? Because this is not appropriate behavior. Getting turned up and drunk with a baby killer. And an outsider coming in to meet them to go somewhere and get turned up, if indeed there are other people there at this restaurant. You are foul too. No way in hell you can speak and say, these are my friends. I know them well. Fuck you know these people. If these people, the LE and FBI telling the public she's suspect number one, then that means they've got something on this dizzy broad. And why the hell would you want to lay up with her and drink with these people and eat with them? And just like somebody said, your wife had a baby in her arms. What in the world would possess you to take a child, a toddler, infant, to a hotel where a baby killer is? You don't watch the news? Or you trying to downplay what? Well, I know the mother, Billy Joe, she's my friend. And whatever her daughter did, it ain't got nothing to do with her. The hell it don't. The hell it don't. Yes, it does. Because her behavior right now is showing she don't give a fuck. So it does matter. If the grandmother was grieving, had put the daughter out, one could say, okay, she's accepting this child, her child killed her child, grandchild. But you hooping it up and going to a whole nother location to stay in a motel and drink with a motherfucking baby killer that you gave birth to. Hell yeah, we got a problem with all of y'all. And I'm going to tell you right now, you think your life about to be Gucci? You can ride all the fucking motorcycles you want and ride around and talk to the news and talk crazy and bust up in people's house. Baby, your day is numbered. Billy Joe, that granddaddy, and fucking Leilani. Baby, what they got ready for you in the prison system, you don't want none. You can't hang, you ain't gonna never hang because you're codependent. That's why I know you could never run and go underground. Passport, no passport. You're codependent because Billy Joe has enabled you all your fucking life. You could never hang underground because it ain't in you. And you think you've gotten away with killing this kid, but you ain't, because law officials got something on your dusty ass. And who's to say somebody didn't have a doorbell camera and saw your stupid ass sitting there lying and waiting to dump that baby? And that's another thing. Did you Google where to dump the kid when the trash people were coming? Because then that means it's premeditated, which I already said it is. Did you Google a certain place to dump the kid and when the trash was going to be picked up? Because you had 1 month to get rid of this kid. And I believe you murdered your child because you were ordered to pay child support. So everything that's unfolded since September 7th, dealing with Billy Joe trying to put these people out of her house, going to the courts to file for child support, was a ruse and bullshit. You never intended to put her out. You never intended to even fucking collect child support from her and the baby daddy, because the baby daddy's a no-show. He's disappeared, and you're sitting here still enabling this fucking cunt. Yeah, I said it. You're sitting here enabling this bobblehead because you don't give a fuck about life. You've taught your kids not to give a fuck, and that's the reason why Baby Q is dead, because you didn't teach that motherfucker nothing. You never taught her how to love. You never taught her how to respect another human being. And that fucking husband of yours, he's a fool too, because he's lied in the cut and watched all of you all act a donkey's ass. Papaw, you with the shit too. And I'd like to know if you were there at the hotel with these damn buffoons. And the so-called biker, you a fool, because had Billy Joe called me talking about, meet me over here, come over here to the hotel, for what? I was listening to that Shogun guy, cinema guy, and I was listening to something he was saying about what was the reason for them going there? Were they going there to talk in private? What? Well, like I was thinking to myself, you're not going to go in public to talk about how to evade police and what you're going to say in case somebody gets arrested, blah, 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 because a public place isn't for that. So perhaps they are worried about staying in their house, worried about surveillance, worried about if the FBI has bugged the house. But you wouldn't go in a public place getting turned up because your defenses are down when you drink. So it make no sense to go in a public place and talk about what are we going to do next. You do that in a hotel. You do it in maybe a public park somewhere off the beaten path. Because if you go to a hotel, nobody knows you're coming. So the room wouldn't be bugged by FBI and law officials. But you sure as hell wouldn't go in a public place talking about, hey, what we're going to do about this situation here with Baby Q, knowing people can hear you. And as far as why FBI wants that video footage of her in that Stingrays, it's for the obvious reason, to show cause you never cared about the child, and this is how you behave while FBI agents are searching for your child inside of a landfill. Could be drugs. It could be anything. Could be, as that one guy said, somebody to help her get gone, stay gone. And he made a good point, because we're just assuming she ain't got it in her to stay on the run, go underground. But if you find a bobblehead that wants to let her shack up in their house, such as that stupid PI with Casey Anthony, hell yeah, she could stay underground. You can find a bobblehead that'll hide her out and let her stay in their fucking house for free. Because there's always somebody out there that will enable a murderer. And we see it every day on the news, that many people have been enabled by civilians. That is the reason why we're talking about Baby Q right now, is because the baby's mother, she never learned anything from Billy Joe. And even in the end, her talking all that junk on the news, she's right there beside her daughter, who is a baby killer. How about that? Thank you, Rainbows. Billy Joe, you a trifling ass woman. You've taught your kids nothing. You've got one son already incarcerated for murder, and now you've got a daughter that's a baby killer. There's something in the gene pool, and it stinks, and it's rotten, and it's diabolical. Because rarely will you find two children born to the same mother become murderers. I doubt in the book of life you could find a person that gave birth to two murderers, especially one that's a male and one's a female. The percentages are probably very, very low. And the fact that you were at that hotel with her, riding on your little tricycle, told the story. You don't care about baby Q either. And for all I know, you been knew that the baby was dead before you touched down on Savannah, Georgia soil. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Who's to say she didn't call you and tell you, hey, there was an accident. I hurt the baby. I did this. He's dead, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to the news trying to act like, oh, she did this. Oh, I'm confused. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, the story's not adding up. And then now, a week later, you're sitting here on a fucking island hooping it up with a baby killer that you spawned. Who does that? So hell, maybe you're related to Chris Watts because his mom and daddy, they're the same too. And their goofy ass sister. Sitting up here slapping it up with a murderer. As if, hey, he didn't kill his whole damn family. Oh, I don't care what you did. I love you. Well, ain't that nice to know? That you was sitting ride or die for your son after he done murdered and slaughtered his whole damn family. Because that means he got his ways from you. I keep telling you, you don't know people. Hell, possibly any of us could be diabolical, not necessarily kill a child, but in the right circumstances, we could also end up a suspect. That's why you've got to try to get self-control. So you don't end up a Chris Watts, a Leilani Simon. You got to get control. Because anybody can pop off. I get it. We all get angry, frustrated. But those emotions should never apply to a child. Because you are deemed ugly if you popped off on an adult and murdered an adult. As they say, walk away. Just try to walk away. And that's my message to you today. Is that we're all human. We're all flawed. But there's no reason on this earth to ever consider killing a baby or a child. You have no damn right. You have no damn reason to ever murder a baby. He didn't ask to be here, and he sure as hell didn't choose your dusty ass. He didn't choose you, Leilani. He didn't choose Billy Joe. He didn't choose his fucking daddy, wherever the hell he's at. It's just an innocent baby. And those other children, they don't deserve this either. But God knew that Quinton's time would be short here on earth. And he also knew those other two children were not going to stay with you long either. He had a plan. And I pray for those other two children because they are a part of this diabolical plan to offer baby. And I pray that they will find a fine home with people who will love them and treat them accordingly with respect. And they will never know any of this mess until they are older. And they won't think of you and they won't look your damn way. You or Billy Joe or their biological father. I don't know what everybody knows in that household. I don't know what was told, what was seen. But I know Ellie has something on Leilani. And I'm just going to wait it out. Because there's a reason they are in that landfill. And I refuse to believe anybody would just go dig up dirt and trash for no apparent reason. White Boy Lockdown Radio is the source of this content pertaining to the process of dumping trash in a landfill and how it's divided up. And we're going to lean on faith that baby Q is found. I do not know what state he's going to be found in, if there will ever be an autopsy performed. But as I said, I'm going to lean on faith. But I do say that law officials, Chief, you should have arrested her for filing a false report of a missing child and asked the judge to remand her without bond until you could find Quinton Simon. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganJu129 Cash App. Please have a safe weekend. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Prayers for baby Q and his siblings. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Mind the children. God got this. And when he says, I'm going to surface that baby, then he'll surface that baby. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Like, share, subscribe. This is Everyday Shenanigans.